start off by taking a moment to just briefly introduce yourself as an influencer, or in general?
Yeah, sure. Are we recording this?
Yeah, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah. So, as an influencer, okay. So, yeah, my name is Dr Monika Gostič. I am a nutrition consultant for people with chronic conditions. And I've been actually building my audience and my movement for the past 5 years.
Okay.
It all kind of started with, just trying to help people to feel better in their bodies and lose weight and all of that, like the standard stuff. But then I realized that it's not really the message that I want to send into this world.
Okay.
I don't want to be talking to people about losing weight because that is not the primary goal. The primary goal is to be healthy. The weight is kind of like a side effect of it. So because I have this unique blend of academic knowledge and really in-depth understanding of how the body works on a molecular level and all the way then how nutrition works and what are nutrients and our digestive system, gut microbiome, I can then translate that to my clients and I can translate that into messages on social media and my courses. People have started noticing that it's not, I don't give out messages as in you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do that, but I say, okay, right, this is how you can help yourself. And through my social media, they then realize if they follow me, they're going to get a lot of information that is going to help them sort their knowledge about nutrition and their own health out. And yeah, then I've just automatically built a following and
awesome.
People, and there's lots and lots who just want to get healthier.
I think it's difficult as well, especially in this day and age with, diet culture and all that on social media and stuff. And people it's all about weight loss, isn't it? Initially in people's heads. So it's about, educating people that, that's not the be all and end all. And that's not actually what your main goal should be really in the big scheme of things.
Absolutely. I think quite a lot of that is very, very dangerous as well, because there's people who don't understand the health stuff behind it and the biology behind it. And they're just trying to force their bodies into weight loss without actually giving the bodies what bodies need.
Yeah.
And that translates into health complication, chronic conditions can flare up. There's a lot of other stuff that can happen. And I've seen it over and over again where people went on to 500, 800 calorie diets.
Oh, wow.
Successfully lost weight on these diets because, of course, you're going to lose weight if you stop eating.
Yeah.
Then it's not a sustainable process. However, when your body is getting adjusted to your new reality, which is those 800 calories. As soon as you start eating more than 800 calories, which for a normal person, for an adult, about 1,500 should be quite okay.
Yeah. And
as soon as you start eating 1,500, that's signaling to your body that you're eating in excess. And it's putting on fat.
Yeah.
Because it was working at 800. So it's like...
So it's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
It really is. And then you think you need to start eating even less. And then in the end, you then go for intermittent fasting and you don't eat for days. And it's just, in the end of the day, you are at a loss of what can you actually do to continue your progress and actually be healthy.
Yeah.
And that's where I tell my clients that it's just not the way to go. It's not about eating less. It's about eating right. And I think they're all quoting me in their head every time they eat when I say that, because it's literally the sentence I say multiple times a day.
Yeah. Do you think social media is quite to blame then for, people's attitudes toward food and body?
Absolutely, yes. What I've noticed as an academic in the field is that there's many so-called professionals.
Yes, that is very true.
Who have done a course or two maybe on nutrition or fitness and stuff like that. And they are now reading scientific studies without full understanding of what it actually means.
Yeah.
So this is how keto diet became popular, for example, because one personal trainer read the study and started spreading news about how carbs are the enemies for everything and you should stop eating carbs. But what they didn't say is that keto diet worked for epileptic children.
Oh, okay. Not the entire population.
No, No.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's the same with intermittent fasting right now. It's like everyone's talking about it, but the studies that are done on intermittent fasting and that have shown beneficial outcomes are done on white men. They're
Yeah,
not done
yeah.
on women. They're not done on any other population. So it's really, science is very colonized in terms of directed to specific population of participants,
Yeah.
and you can't blueprint that to children, to women, to Asians, to anyone else. You just can't, because we're all so very different.
Yeah.
And I stem from the microbiome, which, as a geneticist, I've got PhD in genetics. We tend to do like twin studies a lot, because genetics is really interesting to see, oh, if one twin has it, does the other twin have it? What's the hereditary, blah, 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 blah. But with microbiome, we can't do that, because even the twins have crazy differences in the microbiome. It's just like it's more unique than your own fingerprint.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's how you need to look into your own diet and lifestyle.
Yeah, that's in your gut, isn't it? Your microbiome.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, it's everywhere.
Okay, yeah, true.
We got the skin one, we got the vaginal one, we got the oral one, but the one that we usually refer to when we talk about microbiome is the gut one.
Yeah. Interesting. So what is your, well, it's kind of obvious, but the next question is, what is your niche as an influencer then? So I'm going to go ahead and say nutrition and fitness mainly. And then obviously you say you work with people with chronic illnesses as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my main target is chronic conditions.
Okay.
That's what I focus on. However, there's variety of people who follow me. Mostly, there's a lot of men who follow me who are interested in general fitness, because I'm also a powerlifter. So they're interested in these things. However, I always say I don't focus on the fitness part. I do not focus on giving people out programs for fitness. Personal trainers do that. I really focus on the nutrition part. So I can take people in and help them with their optimal nutrition for optimal sports performance and also recovery. But mostly I work with athletes who have started developing chronic conditions.
Okay.
Which is surprisingly quite a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay. You wouldn't think so, would you, with athletes? But
no. So one interesting kind of like look that you can do is go around the gym and see all these really fit, muscular people and have a look who of them has spots on their back, on their faces and stuff like that.
Oh,
That
okay.
is one of the very, very interesting indicators of gut health. And because athletes are obviously following a lot of bro science.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, they tend to overconsume certain products, such as pure protein products that sometimes are not of a good quality and they cause quite a lot of irritation.
Yeah.
They tend to add extra stuff. And yes, our body can reflect, they can grow muscles and all of that. Of course, a lot of them have stimulants. So we need to talk about that as well. And
yes.
If you are purely natural without stimulants, that is a whole different story. But those products don't tend to work beneficial on our gut. So my clients then come to their 35, 40s, where their bodies are starting to reflect the treatment that they've had. So you can have a six-pack and still have a messed up gut.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I keep saying to people is like, okay, it might look amazing on the photos and videos, but that doesn't mean that they're actually healthy. So, health is a journey. It's a lifestyle that you need to keep adjusting for yourself. And you actually just say, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing because that guy's done it somewhere on the other atmosphere. And,
Yeah, no, that's true. And you can't see the inside of someone's body, can you? You just see what's on the outside, which isn't actually an accurate representation of their health, like you said.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're dealing with nowadays. It's also a lot of personal trainers that have found something that works for them and now they're preaching that and they're generalizing it that everyone should follow what they're following, which is one of the biggest dangers for a lot of impressionable youth out there.
Yeah.
It simply doesn't work like that. And just because it worked for that person, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for anyone else.
Yeah, I think it's quite trendy as well these days, isn't it? Like on online and stuff, is the fitness side of it, and consuming sort of, you've got your protein powder and your stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I think people will see these powerlifters or whatever doing that and think, oh, I'll do the same. But in reality, it ends up causing them issues. So is it mainly gut conditions that you work with then? Are there any other sort of chronic conditions that you work with, or is it mainly gut related?
That's a very good question, actually, because most chronic conditions stem from the gut.
Oh, okay.
So, when we're talking about IBS and diabetes and things like that, that makes sense that that comes from the gut. And quite interestingly, most athletes that I work with have IBS.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just the gut gets irritated by the treatment that they've got.
Yeah.
A lot of people think the athletes eat very well.
Yeah.
Not true. It's not true. They just train really hard and provide certain nutrients, but then the rest the body needs to deal with, and then eventually leads to IBS and other conditions. Many athletes that I know severely struggle with anxiety.
Oh, interesting.
And people are now starting to realize that anxiety and depression are not classed as a mental health condition anymore. They're actually classed as a chronic condition.
Okay.
So that also has now been shown through science is related to your gut health, to inflammation that is happening, because we have a nerve that's called the vagus nerve that is directly connecting our brain to our gut. And it enables direct communication between the two. So the brain can influence the gut. This is why when you're stressed and you're producing extra stress hormones, it will influence your digestion.
Okay.
And your gut influences your brain. So the way that you eat, the way that you drink, consume alcohol, energy drinks, oh my God.
Oh yeah, especially in athletes.
Even if there's zero sugar, they still cause a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And that influences your brain. So there's a lot of anxiety happening amongst people who are consuming that type of diet. And yeah, there are a lot of athletes, but there's also people who are athletes who live off Monsters and Red Bull.
Yeah.
People that work maybe in construction workers, drivers, they need to stay alert for long periods of time. And then you start seeing them developing anxiety and other conditions. So chronic conditions are very, very widespread, and there's things that we wouldn't think that is a chronic condition that actually is.
Yeah,
including women's health.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So as well, I think another issue sometimes is, people being influenced by those that have, like you said, got, maybe a minimal qualification online, and then, they'll make a social media profile and preach all these things and get clients, but really they don't have that full knowledge, if that makes sense. So I think that can be quite dangerous as well, leading people down the wrong paths.
It could be. The problem that I have with that is that those people firmly believe that they're right. And
that's true.
They have found the solution. That's what's dangerous. Now, if I see a person who goes out there and says, this is how I've done it and this works for me, so you might want to try it, I have absolutely no problem.
Yeah, no, that's true. As long as there's that disclaimer.
Yes, exactly. And even for me, the way that I eat, the way that I do my own health, I always tell my clients, don't look at what I do because I am me. You do not have a lifestyle that I have. So we need to find for you. And it's a completely different thing that to me, like my clients don't powerlift. Well, most of them don't. You can blueprint these things. You don't work the way I work. You also don't have the history of health conditions the way that I do, the family history. So it is really, really important to understand what you're doing. So I think what I could say is what I follow and what my audience then follows through me is lifestyle medicine.
Okay.
Which is it's coming up, is really newly recognized, and is a type of medicine that works on the personalization, on individual, and it's all about the lifestyle management and not the medication. So you've got the traditional medicine, which is you're seeing a medical doctor with medical qualifications, and they prescribe you some sort of pharmaceutical for your condition. And then you have the lifestyle medicine, which there's obviously people who are qualified that are allowed to practice it, and a member of the British Lifestyle Medicine Society. So what you do there is you get to the root of the cause. You don't just prescribe medication for the symptom, but you're trying to figure out the individual and get to the root of the cause, but also the environment of the individual, which is usually the root of the root of the cause.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we cover here and what I spread around as an influencer as well. And then you have a massive blanket that covers all of that, which is population health, and that is a whole different level of health research and health analysis.
It's building those healthy habits day to day that work for you, isn't it? To maintain health, really, as much as anything in the long term.
And there's a lot of habits that need to be broken. The old habits, there's a lot of behaviors that's been passed down the generation.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
A lot of times people say, obesity runs in my family. It's genetic, and me as a geneticist sit and listen. Did you know the genetics influences at most up to 30%?
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
The rest is everything else. Is your lifestyle, is your stress levels, is your nutrition, is your relationships, is your traumas, is everything that comes to that. So the problem that we get is that it's not that the genes that we inherit from our parents, it's the lifestyle and the habits and behaviors that we inherit and used to put aside. Such as, for example, if we're talking about how you take a coffee in the morning. And certain people are very, very stubborn about their coffee in the morning. There's one thing that needs to be coffee with so much milk, with so much sugar, that has to be every single morning. Like, why? Tell me why.
Yeah, they can't function without it.
You think they can function without it. But the thing is, when you go through the steps that I go, and then you identify where the problem actually lies and address that problem, eventually you start waking up feeling fresh. You don't need that sugar, so much milk in your coffee and everything. Then you can actually start adjusting to new you. But people need to be open to that, and a lot of people are not. And that's why this diet culture is so successful, is because people are not open to long-term solutions. They just want a quick fix for holiday, for a wedding, for whatever, and then go back to where they were. They don't want to do the hard work.
But they have to give it time.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
For sure. So what social media platforms are you active on then? And which is your favourite and why, would you say?
I'm basically everywhere. So obviously from all the social media platforms, I post different stuff. So I am very active on LinkedIn, which is my professional social media, which is where I communicate about professional stuff, such as latest studies, such as client testimonials, such as direct evidence from research that is also happening at the institutions where I function. I collaborate with Scottish institutions as well. So that's the LinkedIn. Then I'm on Instagram. I have quite a large following on Instagram. However, they're mostly the people who follow me are people in fitness. So people who are interested in lifting. They are in my journey as a powerlifter. And they don't really respond as much to nutrition stuff. But they do respond to motivational videos.
Yes. Get in the gym videos.
That's the kind of stuff that works there for me.
Okay.
And then my favorite is actually Facebook.
Okay.
Because that's where I can directly communicate with a lot of people. I suppose it's the generational thing as well. So people who I work with, their generation, our generation is mostly on Facebook.
Yes.
And I have a free community there as well, where people can interact directly with me. They can post questions. They can also share their recipes. It's really like a family.
Yeah.
And not just, look at me, follow me. But it's like, let's
interesting.
Together.
A sense of community almost.
Yes.
More interactive.
Which is incredibly important when it comes to health journey. It's such a sensitive topic and such a hard thing to get started.
Yeah.
That you do need support from everyone else around you. So I definitely prefer Facebook over all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm also on TikTok, and it's like you can find me anywhere if you just Google my name.
Yeah. So you're on everything, but you prefer Facebook if you had to choose.
Yes.
How about YouTube? Are you on YouTube?
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. I am there. I've got a virtual assistant who is managing the YouTube, so they are putting my stuff on it. But I don't really do much on it because personally, I run out of time on a daily basis to deal with everything. So, like, if you want to get me directly, you'll get me on Facebook. But yes, I also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it takes a while to edit YouTube videos, doesn't it? It's very time consuming.
But it's okay because I record my seminars, my webinars, and all my coaching that I do. I record it, send it over to my virtual assistant, and they edit it and post it on Relevant.
Okay, that's really handy having that second person there.
It's necessary, especially when you get to this point in business, yeah.
Yeah, it leaves you with more time to focus on the more important things, I guess, like actually making the content and, you know, talking to your clients and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. I have very personalized approach for my clients, so it does take me quite a while to give them daily feedback, which is probably one of the most needed features in coaching, and a lot of people don't get that. So yeah, it's definitely, my approach goes beyond apps. You know, it's beyond MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal isn't a good app when you're coming to chronic conditions, when you're talking about optimal health for you. It just doesn't work for it like that. If you just want to go to the gym and hit your macros, it's great. But if you actually want to go in depth and look at the specific stuff for you, then someone who has the knowledge and can guide you through that.
Yeah, the app's never going to know you as an individual, is it?
Very true, very true.
So how long have you been an influencer for now then?
Well, as I mentioned, I've been building this for about 5 years.
Okay.
But it really kind of picked up in the last 2 years.
Okay. So 5 years, but 2 years more, you know, seriously almost. Yeah. Okay, cool. So quite a while then, but still not, in the big scheme of things, you know, fairly new, I suppose?
Yes. It took me a while to understand what I want to do and how I would take it. So, as I said, in the beginning, I was mostly thinking weight loss, and general health. And then as I progressed through my academic career, as I started gaining experience more in genetics, I worked in cancer research as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
As I started actually seeing people with these specific conditions and seeing how they're affected, and then doing my own research and then joining institutions where they do nutrition science and nutrition research. Then it kind of got to me that, you know, this is the place I want to be, and I don't want to identify myself as a weight loss coach. I want to identify myself as the person to go to when you struggle with a chronic condition. And I think I've read statistics from last year or from 2020 that 90% of UK deaths were related to chronic conditions.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's very important work then. And I suppose you figure out what you'd like to do as you go along, don't you? You know, you start doing one thing, realize it may not be for you, move on to something else, and then finally find your calling almost, I suppose you could put it.
And even then you can change your mind.
Exactly.
That could be a good advice for anyone who's like very young and trying to figure out what they want to do in life. You don't need to settle at 20 to do something for your life. There is always, it's a journey, it's growth, it's development. You change as a person as well. Yeah. Your experiences change you as a person. So it's absolutely okay to change your calling, change your career, change your direction.
I think that's really important because I feel like a lot of young people feel pressured to sort of decide what they want to do, you know, in school and stuff like that at like, 16, 17. And it's like, I don't think anyone knows at that age, realistically.
No, it's way too stressful for that decision to be made at that time, absolutely. And it's the same with health. It's absolutely the same with health. Like when you're in your 20s and early 30s, I understand like you're really not interested in that because you're young, your body works amazingly, you're basically immune to anything you do. I mean, I know I was that age. I lived in Germany. I don't know how my liver survived that time. Honestly.
Oh no.
I was a party girl. I understand. I remember that time
Yeah.
myself, and I didn't listen to anyone. And then 30 hit, and then 35 hit, and then it was like, oh,
Yeah. Oh
well.
no.
Then you start realizing that what people were saying to you when you were younger is actually true. Things do
Yeah.
change,
Mm.
and with things, the way that your body changes, the way that your body stops allowing for certain behaviors,
Mm.
your body will start resisting. It will start accumulating all the mistreatment that you give it
Yeah.
for the past 10, 15 years. Your body's going to be like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And it's going to start resisting. And that's going to then show up. And, suddenly you're going to have a beer and then have a hangover for 5 days.
Yeah.
Or you are going to be a lot more prone to injuries. Even if
Mm.
you're an athlete, or if you are an athlete, you're suddenly going to start struggling with joint pain. Lower back pain is one of the
Mm.
most common, which, by the way, can be associated with a lot of female health problems as well.
Okay.
And it's just so many other things. Women start realizing that they actually have certain hormonal conditions
Yeah.
and so on. So it's really understanding that with every decade that you age, you
Mm-hmm.
need to change your behaviors, you need to change your lifestyle, you need to adapt
Mm-hmm.
to the reality that you're in now,
Yeah.
and not just try to be in your 50s the way that you were in your 20s.
Yeah, exactly. It's just accepting that change, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, how did you become an influencer within your niche then? So, at what point did you sort of start considering yourself an influencer? What was that sort of moment where you thought, oh, actually,
That's a good question.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is. I mean, if I wanted to pinpoint it to a specific moment, I think when I first started getting recognized through business awards,
Oh, okay.
I started getting a lot of business awards. I think up to date I've got about 6 or 7 business awards
Oh, wow.
that I've been nominated for and been given, and changed a lot of lives. But I think the first time that I really started considering myself an influencer was when I got myself into the position where I could say to another business, I can lend you my audience
Okay.
in return for something, maybe their services, maybe a product. There was a woman who developed a fantastic line of leggings
Okay.
as well. And my daughter and I, we basically live in leggings. We absolutely love them. And we managed to do this influencing work where she needed to spread the word about her product. And I have some friends who are photographers, and I just grabbed my daughter. We put matching leggings on. We went on the beach. We took some amazing photos. We had so much fun. And that woman had marketing material for like years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think that was kind of like the first point
Yeah.
where we were able to do that. And as I said, we both live in leggings. We still have those leggings. We absolutely love them. They're so soft and very nice for winter as well because they're quite thick. But yeah, that's where I realized that, you know what, I don't necessarily just need to push forward my own business. I can help people who are wanting to put products that I don't have, but I believe in.
Yes,
which for me
yeah.
is very, very important. My movement is called Breaking Bad,
I
and
love
that
it.
stands for balanced, authentic, deserving. And the authentic part is so important for me. So I will never recommend something that I've not tried.
Okay, yeah.
And I've noticed there's a lot of companies who have worked with supplements and people who worked with, I don't know, maybe CBD and other stuff as well that I know can really, really help my clients as well. And so I would approach them and then say, right, I would like to test this product and see if it works. And if it does, would you be interested in some sort of like influencing work where I can recommend your product forward? And that is how it started. And now I've got an email list of people I've got following on social media. And yeah, I'm taking certain products. There is a CBD product that I'm taking, especially CBD gel for after workouts and after competition. That's amazing. It really helps with inflammation. And I personally know the person who developed it. I also, know the science behind it. So there's massive trust in there. Then there's also a food supplement that works on your gut health that I have started taking myself first. And I know that people who develop it are scientists like myself in the field. So it's things like that that then slowly then grew into a full-blown influencing work.
So it's when you sort of thought, you know what, I have a big enough audience, to benefit these companies, but also, obviously it's really important only promoting products you actually believe in and that work for you. Do you get what I mean? Because I think a lot of influencers will take any deal sometimes, especially when they want to earn money. Do you get what I mean? But, if you don't believe in a product, really, should you be promoting it? Probably not.
I don't.
No.
That is my personal belief. That's my personal value.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who don't mind. But to be honest, I don't even think that you need to have a big enough audience.
Okay.
I think that you could also work really effectively with audience who is highly targeted and very engaged.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think in terms of influencing language, I fall into the nano or micro influencer.
Yes, yeah.
So, I have very small following in that terms, but the audience that is actually interested in what I have to say.
Yeah, very like a community.
They follow my stories every single day. They engage, and it doesn't need to. You don't have to have tens of thousands of people. But if people that you have are actually engaged and believe in you and trust you, then that's good enough.
Yeah. So what would you say is the secret to your success so far as an influencer then, if you had to choose one thing?
Consistency.
Very important.
Not giving up.
Yeah.
It gets hard, like with every single thing. It gets hard in your career.
Yeah.
It gets hard in life. It gets hard in relationship. And it gets hard in being an influencer.
Yeah.
In having business. Just like stay true to yourself. People see through all the bullshit. They will eventually see through you if you're not being authentic. And I think that's what's important. I think I really started being successful when I shed the fear of showing who I really am.
Yeah, people definitely respect that.
Yeah, and it's hard, very hard to do that. But at the same time, when I was kind of like hiding certain things about me because I felt, imposter syndrome or this and that,
Yeah.
and people didn't engage with me as much.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And then as soon as I really broke bad, and this is where my
yes.
and I started sharing my story, and I was like, I am not perfect. I also slip sometimes. We have pizza Fridays in my family. It's not like they promote this Puritan movement or whatever. This is why it's called Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You need to really ditch the system and do what's right for you.
Yeah, 100%. So authenticity and then consistency with posting content, I guess, as well, just to keep people, thinking that you are going to post regularly. Otherwise, they probably won't bother keeping up with you, I suppose. So that's super important. Absolutely. So what are your current goals as an influencer then? Do you have anything that you'd like to achieve in the future?
I want to heal the world.
That's a nice big goal. No, that's a great one.
Honestly, it is my main goal. Is honestly trying to heal the world. Right now, I am wanting to build larger followings so that the message can get spread out there. Because I'm also in the middle of building an app, which would basically be me in an app, and would be ideally, if we manage to create it the way that I have thought about it, then I'm predicting this app to minimize the burden on our health systems by 30%.
Oh, wow. So that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be absolutely amazing. And I'm really hoping that this can go forward. And if I build enough, when I build enough people who follow me, then of course they will be able to try this app.
Yes, yeah.
And we can then really benefit a large amount of people and start minimizing or even preventing chronic conditions in the long term.
Awesome. So your main focus at the moment is your app then?
That's what I'm doing, yeah.
At the moment. Amazing.
I'm coaching my one-to-one membership clients while I'm dealing with the webinars that I also do. I run various workshops, and I'm also organizing a health summit.
Okay.
But that is going to be a local summit, so only obviously applicable for people who live and everything in Scotland.
Yeah, amazing. So lots of stuff going on there. So where do you see yourself as an influencer in 5 years' time then? How would you like life to look at that point? Ideally.
Well, to be quite honest, I still have my full-time job at the university as a lecturer, and I absolutely love my job. So this is something that I've never thought of quitting, and
that's good.
Influencing is kind of like a part of me as well.
Yeah.
But I see it as an extension of me. So
yeah.
I don't do it as a income generating stuff or whatever. I do it because it is me sharing the knowledge that I gain from various different places, from the university, from conferences that I go to, from other experts that I interact on, for example. We connect, we share, we do all these things from all the professional bodies that I belong to, from Microbiology Society to Lifestyle Medicine Society or Association to British Nutrition Society. So all of these things, really enable me to be constantly in contact with the latest science that comes out and the stuff that we do with clients. And then I just want to share it, and I keep sharing it. And in 5 years' time, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm the person to come to connect you with the right type of solution for your problem.
Yeah. And I think as far as influencing goes as well, if some people try and make it too much of their full-time job or income, it can almost take the passion out of it in a way, because they can feel too much pressure around it. Whereas like you've got your main job, and then the influencing is sort of more like a passion project that you do because you generally just want to help more people, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's just the angle that I've taken, because I generally feel like this is my calling, is to help heal people. And I could have been a medical doctor. I chose not to, because I feel like medical doctors are very limited in what they are allowed and not allowed to do. So I chose this path of a scientist and of an educator and of an entrepreneur myself. I'm a lot more free in my choices in what I can do and how I can influence people. And I started being an influencer not for the sake of being an influencer. It happened naturally through what I do authentically on a daily basis.
Which is the best way, I reckon. So what is your dream brand to work with then? Do you have a brand that you'd really like to collaborate with one day? Or are you open to anything?
Zoe.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely want to start working with Zoe. I think they follow lifestyle medicine as well.
Okay.
And what they've developed is fantastic. However, it could be very, very difficult for a lot of people because the pricing is unapproachable for quite a lot of people that I work with.
Okay.
So,
what do they do then, briefly? Just what does Zoe do?
Zoe developed an AI-based app and system where they send you a tracker that tracks your glucose response to foods. So when you eat specific foods, then you will know exactly how your body responds to them. And that's what I kept saying. There's no one approach that fits all, because for you might eat a sweet potato and you will be absolutely fine. For me, I eat sweet potato and will spike up my insulin levels. And glucose levels. And these are the differences that we need to learn about ourselves. And the Zoe project, they have this tracker where you can actually do these things and you can see it in live which foods are triggering your responses, so that you know more of which foods you should eat and less of which foods you should eat, and that can already help optimize your health. But it comes obviously with a monthly subscription, which is affordable. However, the first test that you do is over £300.
Okay.
That can be an investment into your health, and I see it as such. And I would definitely recommend people to do it if they can afford it. But also, I'm fully aware with the time that
Yeah.
And I would like to be that mediator in between. I want to work with Zoe. I think they're absolutely incredible. I think I could learn so much from them as well. But at the same time, I want to make health accessible for everyone.
Yes, true. Well, hopefully that's definitely something you can do in the future. So what is your best piece of advice, last question then, for those wanting to become or grow as an influencer within your niche? So your advice to someone who wants to essentially do what you're doing.
Okay, so be resilient. Prepare for a lot of anger from various people.
Okay.
Because very sensitive topic, and a lot of people don't understand a lot of things, and they become very emotional when it comes to health and solutions and the message that you're spreading. So be resilient and make sure that what you are sharing and what you are saying is actually backed by some sort of proof and something. So make sure that your sources are valid, and connect yourself with like-minded individuals who are doing the same thing for support, emotional and also professional, and network.
Just definitely.
Go out and find people, network, speak about what you do on a daily basis to everyone.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And you learn more from other people then as well, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. As a scientist, as an academic, what I can say is that you always could know more.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who are out there behave like they know everything.
Yeah.
And they're very passionate about their point of view and their stance.
Yeah.
And they're also very the way that they're presenting themselves could be a little bit forceful, and it would make people think, oh yeah, they are the expert. Try and stay humble. Whatever influencing you do, even if you're not in my niche, in any niche you are, try and stay humble, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that is so true.
And stay open to possibilities that you can be wrong, and sometimes you will be wrong.
Yeah.
That's absolutely okay. Just, apologize and rectify if you can. That's the advice that I can give. So.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, we're never done learning, are we? There's always more to learn from people.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that was the last question. Thank you very much. That was so interesting as well, because I'm also quite into fitness and stuff like that as well. So that was really interesting.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope it's not, I tend to start talking and then I just talk too much. So
no, it's brilliant. You can never have too much talking in something like this, for sure.
Okay, I'm glad. I enjoy sharing this information. I really wish that there was a lot more people with proper background.
Yeah, definitely.
To go out and start sharing this knowledge, because we do need more of us. There's not enough of people like me, because there's way too many people out there who are sick.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully you're all going in the right direction anyway, and more people are becoming educated, so...
Yes, absolutely. More people breaking bad.
Yes, exactly. I think that's a good note to leave it on. Everyone should break bad.
Yes.